Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to go over the mods and maintenance on my ONYX RCR electric bike right here. And I'll also go over some things that I like and don't like about the bike, some improvements they should do on it. And I'll be comparing it to my Handguard that I have over here too. I also have this thing right here that I'm going to try out. If you stick till near the end of the video, I'll show you guys. These are called Handguards. This is made by Zeta. And so, you know, they're made so that it can protect the levers if you were ever to down the bike. I'll do that at the end. I'll install this and show you how it would look like on this, but there are some things that you'll have to buy to even get it to work on that. I mainly bought this for my Handguard. I didn't buy this for the electric bike, so don't think that. So yeah, I'm just going to test it out on this at the end, but really this one I made it to install on my Handguard right here. And then also finally I need to charge the battery on my electric bike here, so I'll show you guys how I charge it and how I do some cleaning up on this bike too. So if you're wondering about that, stay tuned. You gotta be unfortunate. Right here, this is the rear rack for it that came with the bike. I bought this RCR with the dirt kit, and the first thing that I did was that I removed this rear rack. So here's the deal. To remove this, I had to remove the seat, but I'll show you guys on this side. I made a mistake when I removed it, and you'll notice right here I broke the bolt because I turned it the wrong way and I went too strong on it and I broke it. But it still works fine. You only need 3 bolts and it can hang on pretty good. Even if I had 2 bolts, it would work fine, but I do plan on going to Home Depot to find another bolt to replace that. But yeah, it's really sturdy still, even with 3 bolts. So this thing hung on to the shocks back here. So to remove this, you have to remove the bolts back here, take out the shocks, and then pull this out. And you have to do it for both sides. And then it has 2 bolts right here that you have to unscrew. If you look right here, you'll see that there's washers on this. There's one washer here. This thing acts as a washer for the inside part. So what I have to do now is go to Home Depot and buy another washer so that I can put it on this side to fill it out. However, I have been riding it without it and it's been fine. I do want to fix that and fill in the gap with another washer. So I did wish that they gave me 2 extra washers in case I wanted to remove this so that it would fill in that gap. And that's all that I removed. Occasionally I'll remove the front fender. I do like it on right now because it looks like a dirt bike, but occasionally I'll remove it. And to remove the front fender, all I have to do is unscrew the 4 bolts right here, take that out, and it just slides right out. Moving on up here, these are what I bought for it. I bought a phone mount right here. A lot of people buy this one. It's called the Gub. I'll leave a lot of this in the description of my video, but see, it just tightens on like that and it holds it really tight. I've gone super fast with this foam mount on. I've gone in the dirt with it, bumpy rocks, and it hasn't fallen out yet. And you can see you can twist it so many different ways, and it holds it on really tight. It clamps onto the handlebar back here with the mount. I also bought a rear view mirror right here. You need a rear view mirror, and you really just need one, but I bought a pair of it and I put one on this bike and one on my Handguard. And I bought this one because there are 2 different ones you can buy, right? This one is made for bicycles, and I'll show you right here. It just really stretches over on it like that. And look, I pulled on it too hard. I ripped that already, but it has so many notches that I got it on the tightest notch and it holds on fine. Look, it's super strong. And what I like about this is that it can twist a lot of different ways, and it can go a lot of different ways like that. And this thing was super cheap. It was like $5. So if you were to buy one of those other ones, they also make, what is it, bar end mirrors. And those ones, what you have to do is you have to cut a hole on this right here using an X-Acto knife. If you push in here, you'll see that there is a hole in the handlebar here. So you have to cut a hole. And then I'll show you right here. A lot of people are confused with how to install the bar end mirrors. The bar end mirrors will come with something that looks like this. You stick it in there, and when you screw it, this thing expands and it tightens it up and it holds it in there, and then the mirror attaches right here. So that's how it works for that. But if you were to use bar end mirrors up here, you have to buy another special clamp that looks like this, you know, and it clamps onto the handlebars itself. So you have to buy those two separate things if you want it to clamp on here. And then I think the last thing here is this is a fanny pack by Adidas. A lot of times when I'm riding, I do wear a backpack so I can carry a lot more stuff, but when I don't wear that backpack, I stuff everything in here, and I'll show you what I'm holding, because you can hold a lot of stuff in here. See, I have, you know, my mask. I'll have zip ties for emergencies in case I need them, just for anything that, you know, if it falls off. I have like a little camera mount, what do you call it, a tripod thing, just a little mini one. I have some Allen wrenches and a 10mm wrench, because this is the most common bolt. And so if you carry, you know, I can probably carry a lot more in here, but if you carry those tools, you shouldn't have an issue if anything goes wrong, whether, you know, something comes loose on my levers, my brakes, I need to adjust it, the wheels or something, or I don't know, like if a light is falling off or something, I can use zip ties. So I just have those as an emergency. And also I've been doing this lately while I'm riding. I just keep my remote in here in the front pocket, and it's just been making it easy, because sometimes when I have this in my pocket, I might press the button, and so I actually just put it here when I'm riding, and it's totally fine. And it's really simple to strap this on. You see this clip on, so I just wrap it around, clip it on, and tighten it up, and it works fine. I see a lot of people riding motorcycles, Honda Groms and all that. I have one from a Honda Grom over here too. Another thing that I like with this one right here, it has this front pocket that's see-through, and so I'll put my phone here, and then I don't need a phone mount. See, so it holds both. It holds my phone and it holds stuff in there for me. And I think it's like the perfect cheap little thing to do instead of buying like a big old pack. I see some people buy like the big pack that they strap right here, and it's way too big, you know. This thing is slim, portable, and if I ever want, I can just take that off and I can wear it. And as for maintenance on this bike, I'll show you the main things that you want to clean are the brakes, the brake pad, and the chain on it. And what I do is, for the brakes, it's recommended to use alcohol. This one is too strong. You can use 70% alcohol. And really, you should just use a shop vac towel right here. These towels, they're good because it doesn't break up on you and leave anything behind. So put alcohol on the towel and then wipe it down. Then also with the brake pads, I take them out, take that out, take the brake pads out, and scrub it down with only alcohol, and then can put it back on. With the brake pads, I haven't bought this yet, but I plan on buying some of the lubricants for it so that it doesn't squeak. So that's how you clean it. But alcohol just for the disc itself, the brake disc. But as for the chain part right here, I'm gonna use the same thing that I use for my Honda Grom, and it's kerosene. This is clean heat. It's sold at Home Depot and hardware stores. You can also use WD-40, but kerosene works a lot better. And what you do is you got to put kerosene into a spray bottle and then spray on it. I do have a motorcycle chain brush to use. This chain brushes see all sides of it, so I go in like that and I scrub it down. But after you clean it with kerosene and then you wipe it down with the shop vac towel to get it all clean, you're gonna have to use chain lube. I'll leave a picture of chain lube on this video right here. I like to use the Motul right here, and they are very popular. Just a popular chain lube. You just spray it on it and it'll lube it up. So I do the same thing to my Grom, but also be careful when you're cleaning the chain because it's gonna drip a lot. So I really recommend putting like some rags down here, or you can put a what are those oil pans to catch it when it falls in there. And if you want to find kerosene, it is in the paint aisle of Home Depot, or just use WD-40, spray it, wipe it down with a rag and clean it really well, and then put chain lube all over it. And don't be afraid to use a lot of it. Use a lot of kerosene on it, clean it up, and use a lot of chain lube. Alright, so some things I'm going to talk about that I like and don't like about the ONYX RCR motorbike. And at first I thought I wouldn't like this half twist throttle, but I want to tell you guys, I think it is good and I like it now, and I'm not going to switch it out for the domino throttle like a lot of people do. The domino throttle is the full twist throttle, and I'm going to tell you guys something. I think this is good for beginners and a lot of people riding the bike right now, because I do hear people just whiskey throttling it, pulling this throttle, and they're taking off and they're flying off the bike and they're getting hurt and injured. With a half twist throttle, I will have leverage right here. I can have grip. And I've gotten used to it now where some people say they will have numbness on their right hand holding this throttle for a long time. But if you hold it all the way in like that, you won't get numbness. And if you do it right, you will if you're like holding it out here like that, you're putting too much pressure. But I do notice now when I'm riding, I'm totally used to it. I just put my hand all the way in and I pull it like that, and I still have grip on this little part right here. When I first rode a motorcycle, I rode a dual sport bike and I went into the dirt roads. I flew off of that thing because I whiskey throttled it with a full throttle. I yanked on that thing and I flew off. And when you're on a motorcycle, it's a lot more freaky because it's so loud with the engine, and it freaks you out. You kind of stiffen up, and then you just hold it and you're just zooming out of there, right? This thing is a little bit better because it doesn't have a loud sound, so it doesn't freak you out. But when you do whiskey throttle this, you will just like, oh, let it go, you know? But it does help a lot more if you have grip right here without pulling this. So I really do like this half throttle now. I'm not going to change out this throttle. Another main reason is that the domino throttle costs so much and it's such a ripoff, so I am not buying that thing. One thing that I wish this bike did a little bit better with is the kickstand. And the kickstand is easy to put out, but it's too straight up. You notice like that, and look at the bike. It's practically sitting straight up. On the Honda Grom, it leans more, and I feel more stability when I put down my kickstand on the Grom. And I've seen videos. I saw something with an Onyx bike where someone tipped it over because I think he was fiddling with the kickstand or something like that. It's just too straight up. It needs to lean more. I don't know if this can be adjusted. See, look, if I kick it out like that, it'll lean a little bit more. But initially, it should have more of a lean to it so that it doesn't tip over, because this bike is heavy. I could barely have this bike stand up on my downhill driveway here with the kickstand. But with my Grom, it's a lot easier. I just put the kickstand down even with the decline, and it's fine. Another thing that the Grom has is when the kickstand is down, I cannot have the bike go even when I put it into first gear and it goes. And it's a safety feature that a lot of motorcycles are doing now. I think that's a really good idea that maybe Onyx should think about, but it can also cost a lot more to implement that because that is just a simple kickstand. I read a comment somewhere that someone was saying how cheap this remote is for the Onyx, and I don't think it's cheap at all. Actually, I wish this would be a key instead, because to implement a remote on this, I bet it raised the price on this Onyx, and we could be saving an extra $100 or so if it only used a key. So I don't think this is cheap at all. I think this remote is totally fine, and I wish it would be cheaper so that it would save me more money on this Onyx, because this Onyx costs so much. Comparing it to my Honda Grom here, I'm going to show you guys with the key. With this Honda Grom, if I put the key in like that, look at this, I can lock the steering wheel if I turn the key all the way to the left, and the steering wheel locks. Prevents it from being stolen, but there's no alarm on this thing. I do wish the Onyx can do the same, so I guess that's the difference with the Onyx, right? It uses a remote with a built-in alarm for theft prevention. And when the alarm goes off, it actually applies braking to this where people can't steal it and run away with it because the brake will be applied. But they can go cheaper like the Honda Grom if they just use a key, turn it, lock it into place, and then no one can take the bike unless they just lift it up with like two people to lift it up. And that, I think, would save us another $100 or $200 for this Onyx because it's so expensive. I would like to see the price lower on this, but I'm not saying that I don't like this. I do like the alarm and the remote on this, and I'm totally fine with it right now, because when I run into Starbucks and getting a drink and all this, and I activate my alarm, and as soon as that alarm goes off, if someone trying to take it, I'm running out there to get them, you know. And so I do like the alarm on this, and I like how loud the alarm is. I don't mind that it's loud like that, you know. So I read that comment somewhere where someone was saying the alarm was too loud. I'm like, no way, make it louder. I don't want it to be like, thief, someone's stealing your bike. No, it needs to be loud. But other than that, I think it's totally fine. Everything else on this Onyx is totally cool. And what I'm going to do right now is I have this bike lift right here that lifts up the rear wheel. And so I'm going to try to use that on my Onyx. Right now I'll show you if it works or not, because it's very useful for fixing you know, for doing maintenance on the wheels, for cleaning the chain because you need to spin it. Alright guys, so I did get it on with my Venom motorcycle lift right here, and it actually hooks on if you connect it to the rear axle back here, and it's fine. It looks like it has good leverage, and what this is good for is if you lift up the rear wheel here, you can clean it by spinning it. Actually, you can just spin it without the wheel even going, because this bike can go like that, but for motorcycles, that's what we use it for. You gotta like hold on to the seat here. And see, look, I just lift like that. The bike goes back down, and that's how this lift works. And it's rollable too. Once the wheel is on it, I can push the bike forward and back. But to put it back on, see, I just go under like that. The thing hooks onto the axles back there. And then what I do, I just pull it up like that, and then it just lifts the rear wheel up. You can also use this for the front wheel too. Alright, finally, I'm gonna put on these Zeta handguards right here. And to do that, I have to cut into this grip right here to cut the hole out on it so that I can screw it in. And once again, I don't plan on having this on the Onyx. I bought this for my Grom, but this is just to show you guys how it would look like if you were to put handguards on it, because it would make it look more like a dirt bike, you know, a supermoto. And I want to see how it looks like with the handguards on. So there we go. And you know, you'll have to do this too if you're gonna buy bar end mirrors, because like I said, the screw has to go in there. Okay, I finally got these handguards on. They're not fully on correctly. I just want to show how it looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. Looks like a dirt bike. Look with the handguards. Pretty unique. But once again, like I said, that's not exactly how it goes on. I just wanted to see how it would fit, because these aren't the right bars for it. Like I said, you have to get the Pro Taper bars, which are a little bit wider. There's other type of bars you can get to that, like rentals and stuff, as long as they're a little bit wider. But here's the issue with this. It comes with these clamps right here, and this is supposed to clamp onto this bar and give it leverage right here where it can attach on to be more stable. But look, it won't fit because it's too short. So there's two clamps like that. So yeah, just wanted to see how it looks like, and then I'm gonna put those onto my Grom later on. But if you guys are thinking of doing that, I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like a dirt bike. I want to show you guys the lock that I'm using right now for this bike. I use it for both my electric bike and my Honda Grom, and it is the Kryptonite lock right here. Kryptonite Evolution. And I read some comments somewhere where people were saying that the front would feel a little bit light when you're going really fast on this bike, and they felt like the front was lifting up a bit. And I just thought, like, all right, why don't you guys just tie a lock around it, and you can carry this with you when you want to lock up your bike. So one solution is to wrap it around here like this, but you know, make sure you adjust it to give it clearance where you can turn it. I'm just doing this as an example. So the key goes in here like that, unlocks it. So this Kryptonite lock is pretty long like that. And what I actually do is I wrap it around my bar right here. So I just wrap it around here like a snake, and I wound it up until it gets really tight, and then I lock it up. And it looks pretty cool up here. And it also gives weight to the bike if you're worried about it lifting up too much. But I think this bike is pretty heavy already. I've gone really fast on it. I've gone over 50, and I don't think there's any issues with the bike lifting up. I've ridden in strong winds too, and the bike handles pretty good. I think that's why this bike feels heavy. It's so that it can give you weight to keep you to the ground. So I think there's good weight distribution on this. But if you are worried, yeah, get a heavy lock like a Kryptonite lock. Alright, so I'll step through how I charge this bike. Here's the charger that it comes with right here. One of the first things I gotta do is, you notice my bike is on. I'm gonna switch it off using this power button right there. See, it turned off. I don't use the remote to turn it off. Okay, I use that switch. And then taking the power supply that it comes with right here, I make sure that it's plugged into the wall right there. That's the very first thing. I make sure the green light is on, and then I take the plug from the bike down here and then I plug it in. So that's very important. I think they mentioned this, to not plug this first and then plug it into the wall. You got to plug it into the wall first and then you plug this in, but make sure the bike switch is off. Then I just plug this in. It's like that, and I make sure like I have the charger and the bike in a place where no one's gonna walk around and move it. And then you'll see right here that it turned red, so it's charging, and I just wait till that turns green. So yeah, that's how I charge my bike. If you guys want to watch on balancing the battery, on how to do that, that's in another video. I'm not going to cover balancing the battery. I think it's a little bit more detailed, and I don't want to give the wrong information on it, but this is just regular charging on it, and it takes around 4 to 5 hours to charge it. One more thing about charging the battery I want to mention: you don't want to charge it right after you come back from a ride. If you've just ridden it, you want to wait about an hour before you start charging it to let the battery cool down. And same thing after you charge it. I think they said to not ride it for at least an hour, maybe half an hour. You got to let it cool down pretty much. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video. I'm just gonna go cruise around. I took off the handguards here because they were unstable. Let's go on this grass here. Burnout! But yeah, it was kind of unstable. Stay tuned for an upcoming video. I'm gonna do some more Onyx riding. I'm probably gonna go and look for a new helmet. Look at this right here. I'm gonna park my bike right here, and I'm gonna do a quick photo. Check it out, I got this camera here. Got my little Polaroid. Got my little Raphael. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Ooh, check it out. This photo came out pretty nice.